All right, awesome. Welcome to another episode. And I guess we can start just introducing yourself. I mean, you can start.
Okay.
What's your name, bro?
And you are?
Welcome, and you are.
Well, my name is Casto Narvaez, and
I had a question the first time, though.
Yes.
Is that your actual name, Casto?
yes, that is my actual name.
Okay, that's cool.
You know what? The first time that I met him, I thought it was like an autocorrect. And I was like, it has to be Castro.
No.
It can't
Right.
be Castro.
I know, me too. I thought it was Casto.
that usually happens when people ask me for my. They're like, "What's your last name?" And I'm like, "It gets worse. Just try to get my first name."
Or 88 Keys Man, bro.
88 Keys Man, there you go.
You still have that?
Yeah.
That's cool, that's cool.
And you are?
I'm Sindy Hernandez, but when my husband's around, we gotta say Cindy Salazar because I haven't changed my last name yet. So Cindy Salazar Hernandez. Yeah. That's who I am.
That's cool, that's cool. Okay, so what do you guys do with Popup Worship? What's your role? You know?
I'm on just so because the reason obviously of so for people of the Popcast, but we didn't even say this is the collective Popcast.
This is the
Welcome.
collective. Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
the reason is for people to get to know who we are as a team, right? And you guys are part of the collective, and what we do, and why we do it, and just so that because a lot of people have asked like, oh, where do they play or where do they sing at? Like we have a video with you, and there's somebody asked on there like, like where does she do worship at? So it's like,
Okay.
Exactly. They're asking actually about more music. Like what other songs are you coming out with?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, she's not coming out with more songs.
Yes, we are. 2023.
Yeah, we are. But that's why. So, what's your role in the? I know what your role is, but what's your role?
Yeah. Well, I am the keyboard player for Popup Worship, and we actually remember how we met. We met at another recording session. We were introduced by David Tejada, and then who knew we were gonna be here 3-4 years later, and here we are. But we remember we started the arrangement for Come to the Altar, and we went and we worked on it, me, you and David, and we we're just trying it out and seeing what worked, and it's been fun. It's been great, and I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
For sure. And what's your role?
I sing on Popup Worship. I've sang throughout my childhood, my teenage years, and although I'm not going to say that, there's always room for improvement and growth. But I'm not where I want to be as a singer vocally. But I'm a singer in a Popup Worship.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, because we have all the people on here, I like to think that I have worship leaders, not singers. And I mentioned at another episode that, like, for example, me, I don't consider myself a singer. Like, you're not gonna catch me singing my way through a story or
Making my way downtown.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was going to say that.
That's the first thing that popped to my head. I heard it.
You'll never. It's not that I just don't consider myself a singer like that.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a difference between a worship leader, and somebody who wants to be a singer, somebody who's a singer.
Yeah.
So when I look at you guys, like, for example, in your case, I met Andy. Right? We had met years before that. I couldn't remember. I didn't know that. I don't remember. But when we reconnected, I guess, he's like, hey, my wife sings. Oh, cool. She leads worship at the church. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Ask her to come. And it wasn't like, oh, audition for me or, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, let's see what you sound like. No, it was like, no, but she's a worship leader and this is what we do. We spread the gospel of music. So let's get it.
He was like, if she's good, she's good. If she's not, she's not. And we're taking a risk.
No, I'm not taking a risk, but the collective, like I would want it to be full of people who just love God and what I'm saying, have passion for what they do for God and people.
Right.
And I find that in both of you.
Yeah.
Like I remember you also when David told me we were looking for somebody to help us arrange Come to the Altar. And David was like, hey, my friend Casto, he's really good. Like, let's get him on board. I think he has a sound for gospel. I'm like, cool. let's see what we got. And the same thing, we didn't really talk about money. It wasn't like, how much is he gonna charge or nothing. You were just kind of like, you know, like.
He's like,
what
I'm
is it?
expensive.
Yeah. You know, but without you knowing, I was looking for that. Like, not that I didn't want to pay or that I don't, you know, that I don't want to pay, but I was looking for more for somebody who was like, yeah, I want to do it. Yeah, exactly. Somebody who's like, for sure, what is it? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, not, you know, like, oh, but what's the budget? Which most people say.
Right.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I was like, nothing wrong with that. But because the collective's that way, you know, back to the subject of being a singer.
Yeah.
You know, like you're a great singer, don't you? You're dope. Like,
Oh,
I think
thank
you're
you.
yeah, I think you're a great singer.
Thank you.
But more than that, I look at the worship part. Like, you're a worship leader.
Yeah.
I've seen you lead worship at church, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
shoot, I like that, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I'm grateful that you guys are part of the team.
Thank you.
know?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. So
absolutely.
I want, because I'm asking this question right, like, to everybody that comes on here.
Yeah.
And on this episode, I have both of you. Usually, I've had Caleb by himself. I had, you know, Andy by himself. We had Bianca, you guys. But on your case, I'm having both of you on here together. And I asked them this question: like, how do you feel being part of the collective? Like, what's your? It's not that I want to know. It's just that I've never asked you that question. I've never said, like, are you guys okay? How do you feel? Like, you know, because I know that what we do is a lot of work. Like, you know, people don't really get to know this side, but it's like, I expect you to be at the rehearsals. I expect you to know your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, aside from the spiritual.
just kidding.
Yeah, no. But aside from the spiritual part, you know, which is also very important to me, that we're all, like, spiritually doing okay. But I expect you to be there. So I know that it can be like I don't have time. Like, you know, we have our businesses and our families and our stuff. So I know that it's hard, you know. But how are you feeling about that? Like, how do you feel about being part of Popup Worship?
Well, me personally, I still love it, just like day one. The reason why I felt so attached to this ministry is because just the way we all connected and we all were literally in one mind and in one accord. We all just wanted to bring the best. We wanted to play the best. We wanted to help each other out. And that was one thing that I've always looked for when it comes to playing with people. It's having that cohesiveness, but nobody, you know, trying to push their ego or I know more than you, or I've done this, or I played for this person. When we got together, that wasn't important, and that's what I loved. We just got together because we love music, we love God, and we wanted to combine it.
Yeah.
And it's still like that for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
How do I feel being part of the collective? Just making sure I'm answering the right question. I feel like it's truly an honor. Thankfully I've been blessed with throughout my life working and ministering with very talented people, so much that I don't feel worthy sometimes, and I'm like, man, I'm not on their level. And so it's an honor. It's a huge privilege to work with all of you guys. Amazing talent and people that are doing and have done great things, either secularly or ministry, for the ministry. So I feel amazing, and I've honestly felt like I've grown. If you ask any of my friends or my closest people who I've grown up with, they'll tell you like, oh yeah, Sindy's very timid, and as outspoken as I may be, that's why I'm saying this. That's why I'm saying this, because as outspoken and like, funny as I may be, I'm still like, when I'm put on the spot, I'm like, okay, like, we gotta be serious, we gotta recollect ourselves and just be serious. So yeah, I've always struggled with like being shy and like, just holding back and not believing in myself. So I feel like I've grown a little bit, and just, it's fun when we're together. It's fun when we worship, when we mess up and then we laugh at each other, but it's okay because we're gonna get it right the next time, or, so yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm very happy to be part of this amazing team, and thank you for coming up with this. Thank you for doing this. I don't know if it was ever a dream, like an accomplishment that you just, that you wanted to have. But yeah, I'm very happy that you did this because you're blessing many lives with this.
Thank you. Yeah, no, no, it wasn't a dream of mine. I'm like, not like you, but I just behind the scenes, like I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like when God calls you to do something, you can't say no.
Yeah.
You know, but I also understand that the heart has to be the right one,
Yeah.
and that's why it's not that I'm picky about who's part of our circle, but I'm just glad that God puts the right people, like, you know. And like I mentioned before, I don't think that all of us are perfect or anything like that, or that we're the best people. No. But I do know that I love in a different way every single person that's part of Popup. In the same way, I'm not the best, I guess, leader or the best, but I genuinely love. So, you know, like you said right now, when we get together, you guys know I always tell you guys before we go out on a session, I tell you, just have fun, enjoy it, like worship. Don't worry about what it sounds like, and if you don't know by now, like, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just enjoy, just worship, because that's what we're about to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, quick question: how do you mesh that? You know, your husband was making fun of me the other day because I say marry too much. So,
like marry, like what? Like,
marry, like how do you marry that? Being shy and you know, being outspoken.
Yeah.
Up in the altar, you know, because you lead worship. So I'm saying, how do you mesh that?
So now, how do you marry that?
How do you marry it? How do you mesh that?
Yeah. Okay.
How do you combine it? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is it. Like, this is raw right here. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can ask Tom. When he texted me to be part of the Popcast, I was like, dude, like, sure, but like, I'm so nervous already. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do, and you know, so I don't know. But like, when it comes to leading worship, I'm always nervous. But once I start singing, once I start worshiping, it just goes away, right? It goes away little by little. You let the Spirit take over, and you know, you open your eyes and you see the congregation worshiping, and at the end of the day, it's like, wait, why was I tripping so much? Why was I thinking so hard about it when like all I have to do is show up and God is gonna do what He's gonna do.
Yeah.
And so I guess I always go into things nervously, and then I just kind of am in the moment and I forget and yeah.
Are you nervous right now?
A little bit. Can you tell? Let's see the hands. Are they shaking? A little.
What about you, Casto? Because like you seem like a pretty chill guy. You're really stoic. Whenever I see you, whenever I talk to you, but do you get nervous before a set? Before you worship?
I'd say I still do. Even when I lead worship in my home church, I still get nervous and I still get scared, and you know. But once I see that the congregation is responding and they're enjoying the service, it goes away, and I start feeling more comfortable. Like at my church, I'm very hands-on, very aggressive, and everywhere else, I'm a little bit more chill, and I'm just a little bit. I guess I just go into the mind frame. I've learned along the years that you gotta fall into the place you need to be in. You know, I can't be MD, worship leader everywhere that I go. Sometimes I'm just the piano player. Sometimes I'm just the auxiliary player. Sometimes I'm sitting in the crowd and cheering on. You know, I've learned to do that. And when I'm not asked to be an MD or to be a forefront person, I lay back and I let whoever needs to do that. And that's something that I've learned from my young years. You know, when I was doing this and going out a lot and playing almost everywhere, I just learned to let people. Like, I need to do what I was called to do and let people do what they're gonna do, you know? Because I've been in circles where everyone's a worship leader, like Popup, but everyone wants to state their opinion and everybody wants to be on top and nobody wants to be wrong. And it's not a great environment to be in. So I've learned along the years to just, like we say, just stay in your lane, and if they ask you to do something, do it, because that's what you were called to do, you know? And a lot of people don't know that I actually lead worship. And that I actually, I'll never call myself a singer, but I do sing at my church, and I sing backgrounds, I sing leads sometimes, and I just enjoy it all, and I just try to be as comfortable with everything as I can. But yes, I still get nervous, believe it or not. I still get nervous sometimes, and I think it's normal. It's normal when you know that you're doing something not for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when you know it's a performance, you know you practiced and you're ready to go. But when it's something like what we do, where there's a spiritual side of it, it's just, I can't go in with my flesh. You know, I can't go in with my confidence as a person, and I know I have to depend on God. You know, and let God just move and not just do crazy stuff just because I can, just because I have a mic. You know, I like to be led, and I like to see what's going on, and I try to just be sensitive to what God wants to do.
Yeah.
Awesome. You're married to
Andy.
How did you guys meet? What?
Check that one off.
Yeah, you said anything?
I know, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Dun, 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 dun.
We met at a party years ago.
What kind of party? I just
I mean, he went into it last time. He kind of told us, but I
Wait, is it the same? Are we telling the same story though?
I have
just kidding.
no idea.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Yeah.
No.
I just wanted to hear your side of the story. That's all. No, I'm just playing.
Well, he saw me walk in, and then he fell in love, and that's what happened. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Angels and lights
Yeah,
and
exactly.
harps being played everywhere. Right?
Exactly. No, we met at a party in Palmdale, of all places. He was living in the Valley, I was living in LA. And we just happened to go to a party. And it's funny because before we met, we should have met like a couple years before that, because, you know, we were kind of in the same circle, but he wouldn't go to some events or I wouldn't go to some events, so we would always miss each other. So we finally met, and so we met on a Friday night, and then we hung out on a Saturday morning, then we hung out on a Sunday evening, and then Saturday evening, then a Sunday evening, and then from then on it was like every day.
Yeah.
And we kind of just didn't stop hanging out.
My boy's a stud. He's a stud.
And then, well, is he the stud or is it just me?
Hey,
I mean,
wait, let me ask you something. Who chooses? The guy or the girl? Who chooses? The girl, right? So you chose him. Why? Because he's a stud.
Some would say
I think it depends what year this was. I think it
Yes,
depends what
yes,
year this was. 'Cause
exactly.
things have changed over the last
Oh, now we're all.
decade.
We don't want to talk about that. So now we're all.
let's not get
and
into
cut.
that.
Yeah, and then we just it was like a year and a half into our relationship, and then he proposed, and we got married like. Babe. Like we got married like I want to say like 2 years after.
Okay.
And then here we are today, 2022. We met 2013,
Yeah.
December 2013. Oh my gosh, it's
Man.
almost
Yeah. It's
That's 10 years.
yeah.
been already.
So
So
that's
you were Christian at the time, and he was Christian as well. Yeah.
yes.
So how do you feel about that? You know, because it's like, here's my thing. You might hear sounds outside because we're recording live. We're at the studio, but I guess acoustics are not that good right here. So
Got people walking in. That's all.
yeah. Sorry about that. I wear. The other day I was wearing a shirt, Metallica shirt, not a Popup Worship shirt. Sorry, but you know.
I know, right? Where's our gear today?
Yeah. So I was wearing a Metallica shirt, and I was in the line. I want to say Target, and the guy started talking to me about music.
Yeah.
But I see it as an opportunity to actually preach, because most of the time you think about Christian people, you're like, dude, that's boring, bro. Like, why being Christian? You know, if you
Yeah.
can go out and party and do all this and do all
Yeah.
that, and it's a double sword, because like you invite people to church and they go. And then they are like, hey, but I invite you to a party and you don't go. Why? You know,
Yeah.
so was it kind of like that type of situation? How do you feel about that? You know, like, because it wasn't a Christian party where you met, or was it?
Why you gotta put me out like that?
Because it is. You said everything goes. Everything goes.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. No.
Okay.
It wasn't. What's the question exactly?
So basically, the question is, how do you feel about, you know, you meeting your Christian husband
Yeah.
in a secular party? You know, like,
Oh.
because
Obviously, she don't care.
yeah.
No.
No, because I mean, there's opportunities where you can preach in the oddest places. You know, like you don't think, hey, you know, like I'm gonna be a testimony in church. You're already in church. You don't need to be a testimony in church. You go there to receive.
Right.
You're not gonna invite a Christian person to go to another church unless you're taking the name from that church. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you feel about that? You know, like what can you tell us about that?
I think
Sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, just thank you.
Sorry. I'm over here chilling, laying back. I think we didn't meet at a Christian party or at a church convention or something like that. It was a party. And we both grew up in church. We were both Christians, and we were both just having fun, I guess. And that's where we met. And for one reason or another, that's just where we had to meet, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said before, we had plenty of opportunities to meet at a church years before that, or a year before that. We had opportunities to meet at like church activities, and we didn't, you know? And it's funny because growing up, I always said like, my boyfriend is gonna be from my church, and like we're gonna have the same beliefs and the same upbringing and all that. And there were no guys at my church. Like there were no cute guys at my church.
No,
Oops, just kidding.
That's another story. Whatever church you grew up, we apologize.
I'm just kidding.
I guess you're not at that church anymore.
I'm not at that church anymore. No.
No, but you know what? We go back because this was 10 years ago, so it must have been like, you must have been like 32, something like that.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
No. But because you were younger, right?
Yeah.
So
I was 22 10 years
But here's the
ago.
thing, like what we're talking about at a different episode is God. If when you get old enough and you start looking at like what God has done, you realize that God is part of your life throughout your whole life. And then you start looking at him right now, like, okay, what he's doing right now. Like, thank you, God, for this. And then you become more positive where you love on people because you understand that he was back there already. He already had a purpose, a plan. So, because you guys in Popup Worship, we have different levels of seasons of people, right? We have some people who have family, some people who don't, single, married. You guys are a young couple. So you guys are building.
Thank you. We are young.
You are. You guys are a young couple. Compared to us, you're a young couple. Age is like in his 50s already. No. So, you know what I mean? Like,
I am, actually,
So,
I don't want to know how old Casto is. If I'm in my 50s, bro, no, I'm just playing.
Oh, man. I didn't want to go here.
Age doesn't bother me.
He said age is but a number, bro.
Right.
No, but back to the thought was, we have different seasons within Popup, and you guys are a younger season, but even in that, I like hearing those stories because I can see, like, okay, God had this plan already set in motion, so then it becomes hard. Not that it should be like that, but like for me in my case, it becomes hard to not love people. You know what I mean? Like, like with you guys, like I can see where, okay, well, God has a reason to have these people in your life, you know. And like I said, none of us, we're not perfect, nothing like that, not even close. But there has to be a reason, and the more you stick to God, the more that you can accept things and just be like, okay, I gotta be a better person. I gotta love more. I gotta be, you know, and I feel privileged to be able to have like a team like you guys. You know what I mean? Because I can see that, like, when I hear your story, it's like a story that you can minister to somebody. You can tell the story to somebody, and it can help them.
Oh, there's so much more to that.
Exactly. And I know, and exactly like. You know, just to know, like, because you grew up in church, and I
feel like if I would have met Andy in church,
it wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have thought he was cute, or I don't know. Like
I mean, he's not that cute. But...
You better stop. You better stop. I was never. So he's a guitar player. Andy's a guitar player for.
He's a star. He's a rock star. He is. He's dope.
No, I'm just kidding. So at our church, we never really had a guitar player. It was always bass, piano, drums, and singers, and what is it called? The pandero.
The tambourine.
The tambourine. So I didn't really. I was like, who needs a guitar player? Like, who needs a guitar? And then I told him that when we met, and he was like, watch, you're gonna hear the difference one day. And now it's like, like I can hear when there's
Oh, yeah.
You know, cuando hace
Yeah.
falta la guitarra.
Now we're spoiled.
Exactly. No, but like if I would have met Andy in church, maybe I don't think I would have like fallen
Yeah,
for
God
him.
has this way of,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
why He
so-
connects people and stuff.
So there's a testimony right there.
No, yeah, I know that. That's why I was asking the question. Now, Casto, you're married as well, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, you're not single, bro?
No.
He's taken, ladies. He's taken. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm married. I've been married for 10 years. This
You
year,
have kids, right?
This year I have one son.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
we got married. I got married with my wife in 2012. And it's funny because I'm Nicaraguan. I'm from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
And her and I were born in the same city.
Oh,
And
Wow.
we didn't, of course,
you didn't plan
we
it
never
out.
met over there. I didn't know her.
Yeah.
By the time she was born, I was already here in the States. My parents had brought us over. And she didn't come until she was 14.
Oh, okay. She was older.
Yeah, and then I met her when she was 16.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is, we're also part of the same denomination, which is Apostolic Assembly.
Oh, okay.
So I was a piano player for the district choir. I play for the conventions. I'll do all the stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'd always be in the same circles. I would always see her, you know, but I was always just like, hey, I gotta go.
Que le
later.
bendiga, hermanita. What's the handshake?
No 3-finger one?
What's the-
I still
what's the
remember
handshake?
one time
Que le bendiga.
at one of our district conventions, she had me meet her mom. She's like, I want you to meet my mom. And I was like, like, we're not even friends. Like, how are you trying to make me meet your mom? So she came and I introduced, and I was just like, Dios la bendiga, and that was it. And I was just like, okay, I gotta go, and I just left.
Oh my God.
But she kept praying about it, and she was just praying and praying and
Pursued
praying.
you.
And we literally had a short relationship and a short engagement. We were together for 8 months, and then we got engaged, and then we got married in 8 months.
Wow.
So, and the thing is, the reason I did that, and I was not scared at all, is because I always prayed to God. I was like, God, do not let me marry the wrong person. Because as a musician,
Yeah.
girls don't like sharing you. They want you to put everything that you love down and be
And
with
you were
them.
like, is this the right one, God? Is
And,
this the
and
right one? Is this the right one?
honestly, every girl that I would try to get to know always wanted to take me from it. Why are you always playing? Why are you always going? Why don't you come hang out with me and this and that? And I was just like, no, I need somebody who supports my ministry.
Toxic, bro. Man, Cindy.
Now I'm take on all the gigs.
So when I finally met her and we started talking and I liked what she was about, and obviously things kicked off, and I had no doubt in my mind that she was the one. And it's funny, we were actually partly born in the same hospital, partly in the same room, but we didn't know each other until later on down in life. So
That's crazy.
Quiere llorar.
So yeah,
That's cool.
that's one thing that I want to share with the young people. It's, you know, wait on God to give you the right person, because
Yes.
it really is a matter of being happy or being miserable. You know, I see it that way, and I just thank God that I waited on him, you know?
Yeah. For sure. That's yeah.
And then since we grew up in very sheltered homes, her and I, my parents,
Yeah.
you know, even though they're apostolic in Nicaragua, apostolic over there is much more stricter than it is here. So they didn't let us do a lot of things. They didn't let us go out a lot of places. So when we got married, we waited actually 7 years for us to have a son, because we wanted to enjoy our time together. We
Yeah,
didn't
that's good.
feel like we needed to rush into it, and honestly, I was scared, because I was like, how am I going to take care of another person, another living being? But eventually, I went to New York one time to play, and I met this brother Abner, and he just knocked some sense into me. He was like, bro, God will always provide. God will always be there. God will always, he'll never leave you alone.
Yeah.
He'll always be there with you and your family. Like, don't worry about that stuff. Because I was worried about the financial and
Yeah.
where are we going
As you
to
should
live, what
be,
are we
yeah,
going to
it's
do,
normal.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he said, brother, let God take care of that stuff, and everything else will fall into place. And yes, I was like, okay. And we finally made the decision to have my little son Enoch.
Enoch's a boss.
And we love that kid, man.
Yeah.
We love that kid.
We all love
He's
that kid,
He's
yeah.
amazing. He's such an amazing kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I would have had a son earlier, it wouldn't be him. You know, it would be some other kid. I mean, I'd love that. I'd love that kid, but I love that it's him.
Casto.
Yeah.
You know.
So, quick question, like jumping from one thing
Oh,
to the
no.
other.
Yeah.
I know. How did you get into music? Like, what prompted you to say, "Hey, I'm a piano player"? Like, you wake up one day and you just pick up the piano.
Well, again, because of my upbringing,
Yeah.
church was the only thing that we could go to, and even then, they would get mad that we were at church all the time. So, you know, just that old school way of thinking.
Yeah.
But my dad, he's a singer, he's a guitar player, and he sings. And
Well, you have music background, yeah.
I actually just recorded him this year. I finally got him to record. And
He lives in Nicaragua.
he lives in Nicaragua. He's pastoring out there. But
So you're a PK. You're a
I'm a
pastor.
PK, yes.
Nice.
Yes, I'm a PK.
PK aquí. You
And
too?
You too?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. No.
and because my dad sings, I remember since I was a kid, he would make me play percussion. I'd play the maracas or the clave or the congas.
Yeah.
And
How?
just, I was a kid. I just wanted to be with my dad, you know.
Yeah.
And he liked me to play with him, and he would sing. It would just be me and him, and my mom would sing. My sister sings, and then because of the church,
Oh, yeah,
I
she
started getting into all the instruments. I went into the guitar, then I went into drums, then I did percussion was always a part of what I did, and then I finally jumped on keys because my brother-in-law was gonna marry my sister,
Yeah.
and he was like, "We have 8 months for you to learn how to play all the songs in church."
Wow.
And the thing is, he just gave me the keyboard. He didn't.
Hold on, so you learned how to play the keys later on?
Yeah, when I was 13.
Oh, okay.
When I was 13, that's when I learned how to play.
Oh, I was
I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, Diane.
Okay, yeah.
No.
yeah.
Thinking of-
Oh,
No,
yeah,
when I was
whoa.
13. Because I've been playing music with my parents
Yeah.
since I was a kid. And
So this is your older sister.
yes, my
Yeah,
older
yeah.
sister. Yeah, my sister Ruth. And they were gonna get married, and of course they were gonna go on honeymoon. We were such a church that was so enclosed. We were not involved in the district as other churches were. So it was just always us. We never knew people. We never knew people from outside of the church. Even though we knew we belonged to an organization, but it was never like, oh, I know these people. I know those people. We never knew that.
Yeah.
So, of course, he comes to me and there was this rule: you had to be baptized to play. If you're not baptized, you can't play. So I wasn't planning on it. I didn't get baptized to play.
Cameraman over here, like, apostolics.
I didn't get baptized because I wanted to play. I got baptized because God literally called me at some baptisms. I remember they were baptizing people and they said, they always make el llamado, right?
Yeah.
El llamado. ¿Quién quiere bautizar? ¿Quién más quiere venir? Aquí hay agua, ¿qué te impide? The if you're apostolic, you know. So I started feeling like this thing just came over me and I couldn't stop shaking. I was just shaking and I felt like crying. I felt like I need to do this. I need to give my life to God. And in that very same day, unplanned, I didn't take change, I didn't have extra clothes, nothing. I just said, I'm gonna get baptized, and they baptized me. And after baptism, my brother-in-law was like, now you can play. And now, now there's nothing that can stop me from playing. Now there's nothing that can stop me from playing in the church.
Yeah.
And literally, they showed me a few basic chords, and everything else was just learn on your own.
That's pretty good.
I had
man.
nobody to teach me how to play.
Yeah.
Literally, how I learned how to play was I prayed to God, and I was like, God, open my understanding, because my parents were not going to pay for classes.
Yeah.
They were not going to let me stay after school, because they don't want me learning worldly music.
Yeah.
They didn't let me have friends over. So it was just like, God, you need to teach me. You need to be the one, because nobody else is going to teach me. And then my mind just started opening up to it, and I've just stuck on the keyboard since that age.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty dope. Yeah. I didn't know
So when
that.
he came out of the waters, his brother-in-law just said, "Here's the keyboard."
Yeah, pretty much
True
play.
that. Yeah. What about you? How did you get into music?
Church. I don't come from a musical family. So church. I just remember all the sisters used to singing. For me was huge because we had, in the church I grew up in, we had a family who was very musical. So everybody in that family sang, and there was always like a small choir. There was always like 5 people singing and doing harmonies. So I want to say like I didn't really think about learning harmonies. Like it just kind of like I heard it and I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna sing today. I'm gonna sing with Sister Consuelo. That was one of them.
Yeah.
And tomorrow I'm gonna sing, or Sunday I'm gonna sing with Sister Mary. And then the next day I'm gonna sing with another sister. So then everybody has their assigned harmonies. So I think that's how I kind of picked them up. And then that family was also very musical.
Yeah.
So they were talented with instruments, like with those gifts, and yeah. So I think that's how I picked it up. That's exactly how I picked it up. Yeah.
So they told you come and sing, or you just
Oh,
said
yeah.
I want to sing, or
I always wanted to sing. But yeah, eventually, they little by little, like the families would start leaving,
Yeah.
churches.
Yeah.
So then I became a youth leader when I was like 13, and then I became a worship director around that same age. So there was really no like, hey Cindy, do you want to do it? It was like,
Yeah.
hey, you're the only one here, and you're the oldest, and it's your turn, take over. I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed it very much. I wasn't able to do my best because I wasn't old enough to drive. I wasn't old enough to like make my own decisions, and everything had to go through my parents. So, if your parents say no, or if you did something bad and you're grounded for the rest of the week, then that's about it. I just started singing around when I was 13. Yeah, 10, 13 actually.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Casto, we're gonna start landing this plane, and I always like to ask a question, bro. If you were able, well, you're able, right? But what advice would you like to get when you were younger, or what advice would you like to give to someone that's coming up as a musician, as a singer? Someone kind of like grew up like you, because it's interesting the way you grew up, because I didn't really grow up in a Christian home, until later on, so
He's still not Christian, bro.
I'm still not that Christian. So it's interesting for me to hear, hey, like I couldn't have friends over. We talked about it in the podcast where, he interviewed me. I was playing at bars when I was 11, 12 years old. I was playing pool with my dad, when I was that age, so it's like for me to hear that, it's weird. So what advice would you give to a kid 13 years old picking up a piano?
I always say this. Stay within the boundaries of the church you're at, right? Because the moment you get out, you're going to look like a rebel. You're going to, he's just trying to go against the system. We can't use him. We can't. But all I can say is learn as much as you can and just do it. Just go out there. Of course, whatever your convictions are, if your convictions are just to play Christian events, Christian music, do that, but my biggest thing was always fear was opposed on me. Oh, don't play that because you're going to go to hell. Oh, don't do this because you're going to go to hell. It was that was such a message that we heard all the time. The moment we got out of what everyone expected of you, you were seen as a rebelde, as a rebel. So my biggest thing is just do it. Whatever you see yourself doing, go learn it. Go out there, expose yourself. This ministry can be very hard. It can be very judging. They'll make you feel bad. I remember when I started playing, they literally used to stop the service and be like, "Can we get the other piano player, please?"
Wow.
I was a 13-year-old piano player. I was a 13-year-old piano player learning how to play piano. Everybody knew that I was learning.
Can I get the other camera guy in here?
They knew I was learning, and they would literally stop. And I would cry sometimes when they would kick me off. I go to the back and just start crying and feeling all bad and feeling like the worst thing. But my thing is, those are the things that motivated me to keep going and to keep pushing and to keep going. Okay, they don't like me. One day they're gonna like me. One day they're gonna call me. One day they're gonna see me doing stuff that they never imagined that I did.
Are you still at the same church? It's a therapy session.
But that's my advice. If you're trying to get into the music ministry, just be ready for ridicule. Be ready for people to mock you. You know, I've had people tell me, "Oh, bro, when you started, we used to make fun of you. We used to laugh at you when you used to play." You know, but don't let those things stop you.
Yeah.
If you feel that's your calling and you feel that's where God is guiding you, go with it full force. Everybody learns as they go. Nobody's born knowing everything, you know, unless you're some kind of prodigy, and that's a minute percentage of the world. Not everyone's a prodigy. Everyone learns. Everyone stumbles. Everyone messes up. We all have embarrassing moments. You go and you're at a convention center and you start on the wrong key or you start playing the wrong song, and I've had those moments. But you know, all that stuff just motivated me to try to be better next time. This is not going to happen to me again. I will not allow this to happen to me again. And that's my advice is just do it. Go for it. Whatever you envision yourself doing for God, go for it.
That's great.
Reach for it, you know? And I always say, if you need to go to school, go to school. If you need to surround yourself with a certain amount of people, a group of people that will help you in that ministry, surround yourself with them. You need that kind of support, you know? We're not, the church is a community. And you will always find people that will tear you down, but there's always people that will lift you up.
Yes.
That's great.
You know, and you have to find those people, and I've told people, get out of that circle. That's not a good situation for you. Go and find other people that are actually going to help you, build you up, people that are going to actually help you grow instead of tearing you down all the time, tearing you down.
Yeah, find people that will speak into your life. That's great advice, bro. Great advice. Now let's go with Miss Sindy. What advice would you give to your younger self or to someone that is in that situation?
What advice would Cindy Salazar give to Cindy Hernandez?
Right, in other words, take the classes, invest in it. If you really want to do it, and you want to do it for God especially, invest in it. Invest time and invest money, because that's when it shows that you really want to do it. We say oh yeah, one day I'm gonna get myself a fancy car or whatever, right? But are we actually that's our dream? But are we actually saving for that? Are we actually building our credit for that? Are we setting ourselves up for that? Not really, right?
Yeah.
Because we have other things. But if this is a priority, if you want to sing, if you want to play, if you want to do anything for God, go to school for it. Go, even if you don't go to school as for it to be your degree, just take some classes. You know, get advice, and surround yourself with people who are already there.
Awesome, thank you. Great advice. Well, we reached the final lap of the Popcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
It's a huge blessing. Thank you for being part of the team. And where can we find you? Casto, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram as 88keysman.
Okay, awesome.
On there, I also talk to musicians and anybody in the worship ministry, because I do have a passion for this. Because of my experiences growing up, I always said I don't want somebody else to have the same experiences. I know how it feels to feel bad. I know how it feels to be put down. I know how it feels to be you're not worthy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I do this. It's called Music Director Mondays. And I just talk to musicians, singers, MDM, yes. Yeah. And I try to help in whatever area I can.
We can shoot you questions right there and all that, and you'll answer them, right? That's dope. That's pretty cool.
Wave at you as soon as you're on there.
He didn't wave at me, so I was there once, but
Next Monday.
Yeah, he did already. He did. Now I'm just playing with you, bro. I'm just playing.
So I do it because I love the ministry and I want to help in even the smallest way. My motto is, if I help only even one, that's more than enough for me.
That's right. Awesome, great. Sindy?
Find me at work. Find me at home. Find me with my nephews.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No.
What's you made it up? You made it up for me.
So one day we'll get to
look it up over here. It's over here. Yeah. You can see it right there. You can follow Sindy.
She'll be tagged to Popup Worship. She's always tagged.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram. You can look at all the videos on YouTube as well. Thank you for connecting again, and see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Popup Worship.